And showtime, folks. Welcome to the ChannelPro 5-Minute Roundup, a look at news, trends, and tips for the SMB channel in 5 minutes or thereabouts. We've been trending a little bit past thereabouts the last few weeks. We'll see how it goes this week. With me, as always, for all the action is my co-host, Eric Simpson, who is CIO and Senior Vice President of SPC International, a training and business improvement organization for MSPs and solution providers. Eric, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic today, Rich. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Looks like you, like myself, are at home base this week, probably for the last time before lots and lots of travel. I know for me.
Same with me. Yeah, exactly. I'm out on the road almost all of the next month, basically, as we record this. So yeah, we will be recording from hotel rooms.
Yes, we will. And, you mentioned, we do sometimes go a little bit more than 5 minutes or thereabouts. But, I just look at that as added value.
Exactly. Bonus minutes, people. Look at it that way. Well, let's dive into it. A lot of news out of the industry this week, but the one that I figured I would call attention to came from D&H, very popular in the SMB channel. And they are now the latest newcomer to the Device as a Service Club. Now, we've spoken about this before, I think, on this broadcast, in fact, just a few weeks ago in the context of HP, which has had a device as a service program for a while and broadened it some weeks back. There are a number of other distributors that are doing this. Ingram Micro has been doing it for quite a while, and Synex joined that club for some time. And now D&H has one too. They are calling their program the Easy DASIT program, Device as a Service, DAS, Easy DASIT. That's what they're calling it. Pretty typical, or pretty similar to a lot of the other programs out there. Theirs is vendor or manufacturer neutral. They have a number of different hardware makers that are participating in it. They're offering 24 and 36-month terms. One of the things that they call out as special in their offer is that after the 12 months or first 12 months of the contract, you get the ability to increase or decrease the size of the contract a little bit if you have more or fewer devices than you need signed up for. But the basic idea is the same, and it really comes from something that is being driven by the market, by the SMBs out there, who increasingly are looking to pay for hardware the same way they pay for software, and they're paying for software, more and more of which is consumed from the cloud via monthly subscription fees. So I think we're going to be seeing more of these programs from distributors and manufacturers, and I think you're going to see more and more hardware purchased this way.
I agree, Rich. And, it's really for the right client, it makes a lot of sense, because what we're doing is taking that traditional capital expenditure and capital expense and converting it into an operating expense that can provide tax advantages to the right types of businesses or folks that need, some write-offs and things like that. So I think it makes a lot of sense from that perspective. And it also kind of levels the playing field. As you said, there's a lot of players out there that have been doing it from some of the, primary tier distributors. We're seeing more of them adopted now, but we've also seen, lower tier vendors doing that as well, trying to pioneer that market. And, this is the successor to financing and leasing programs, right? I remember, when we ran our MSP program, we just leveraged Microsoft financing like nobody's business. And that's how we got clients to agree to a reasonable monthly payment in order for them to receive, hardware and software and service as a service, all as a bundle. So this is kind of that natural evolution. Now we've got hardware as a service, which makes it easy for clients to do that. And I think it's required to offer that in order to stay with the pack.
Right, that's the thing, and that's why if there's anyone out there who really isn't doing this right now, it's a matter of time before they begin offering their customers this option. And speaking of options, Eric, the D&H program, there are different OEMs you can buy from. You can go with 24 or 36 months. Options seems to be something that they've built into that program. Your tip of the week has something to do with options.
It does have something to do. Great segue. So. Thanks. Today's tip of the week is about including at least 3 options in every proposal that we deliver to our prospects or clients. And I'm leveraging a methodology by Alan K. Weiss, and I recommend folks that are interested in just upping your consulting game, and sales game. The book is called $1 Million Consulting, and Alan K. Weiss says that by offering 3 options instead of 1 option, a very important psychological thing happens in a prospect's mind. They go from the mindset of, should I engage with you, yes or no, to now with 3 options, how should I engage with you? And it's a very maybe just a simple twist, but it makes a big difference. And he goes on to state that when we offer 3 options, and they can't be quantitatively better options, I mean, it can't be like, well, 50 licenses, option 2 is 100 licenses, and option 3 is 150 licenses. Not quantitatively better, it has to be qualitatively better. So if I'm giving you my base package or product or service in option 1, I'm going to add more feature and benefit in option 2. So I may offer managed services and some basic security, antivirus, and things like that. Option 2, hey, guess what? I'm going to include remote storage and archiving. And in my option 3, all that plus VoIP, and maybe I'll manage your DNS and your certificates and things like that. So qualitatively better. Alan says that you will go from selling what you're selling today to selling 85% options 2 and 3, 85% more. So option 1 ends up being about 20%, option 2 ends up being about 60%, and option 3 is the remainder. And we've been using this philosophy for a long time, Rich, and I'll tell you, it has definitely increased our ability to sell more consultatively, and has increased our higher sales realization as well. So I can vouch for it. So options, people.
I've spoken to MSPs before who, and it's as you very well know, because you probably invented this whole model, but I mean, that the idea of offering gold, silver, and bronze packages or something like that, multiple packages to your clients, is one that's widely embraced out there. And I've spoken to MSPs before who have said, if you do that, if you offer 3 options, that customers have a tendency to gravitate towards the one in the middle, which is consistent with the percentages you were just citing. And they actually design their entire set of offers around that fact. If I know that 60% or whatever of my clients are going to go with silver, then I want that to be a good, profitable deal for me. And if I get some more people moving up to gold as well, fantastic. Some of them are going to choose bronze. I accept that. But I'm actually going to optimize all 3 packages in a way that silver one works well for me.
That's exactly the strategy. And you want to build the most value in the middle option. Now, everyone, you're going to run into the folks that want to drive, the Tesla. So you've got to give them that high value option, right? But for most of us folks, we can drive a decent car here in the middle. And then for those of us that, maybe it's not in the budget, but I do need some support, we're always going to give them that entry level option. And the key is really to try to maximize your margins at each level. I like to try to pinpoint like a 60% margin. And then if the client wants to negotiate, here's the other nice thing is they say, well, I really want option 2 or your platinum or gold plan, but I'm only budgeted for this. Well, that's why there is that option. Well, can you do something for me? Okay, well, what would you like to remove? That's the key, right? Never just negotiate on price. Everything that you're offering in your bundle has value. So the trick now is, instead of to say, okay, well, can you afford X? Wrong. Say, well, let's take a look at what's in that bundle and tell me what you would like to remove to try to get us into a reasonable budget. You've got to meet me halfway. So increase your budget a little bit and let's see what we can do. And that way, again, consultative sales process.
Fantastic. Really interesting stuff. We have got just barely enough time here for one more story, though. So I'm going to plunge forward and ask folks in our audience, do you wish you could write music like David Bowie? Well, you can, or you could, kind of. Let me explain. Last week, news broke that a couple of creative professionals at an advertising agency in France had uploaded to the internet some fonts that they meticulously created to recreate the handwriting of not only David Bowie, but Kurt Cobain, Leonard Cohen, and a 4th songwriter whose name
John Lennon.
Was it?
John Lennon, yeah. Okay,
well, there you go. You now could write, like any one of them, music or anything else, in their handwriting using these downloadable fonts. Unfortunately, it turns out that according to those darned lawyers, handwriting like that is actually part of an artist's estate, and you can't just go and recreate it and hand it out to the rest of the world. So those fonts are no longer available anymore. If you managed to download them, though, before they got pulled off the internet, you can now write music or anything else, including managed services proposals, in the handwriting of David Bowie.
Yeah, you know, it takes pioneers to you know, determine what's allowed and not allowed. I mean, I've never heard anything like this, and I'm sure that the attorneys had to scramble and go, okay, you know, their handwriting is part of their intellectual property and part of their estate. But, you know, very, very interesting. And I did check out the site. It was very, very cool. I mean, they did have all these different, you know, and you know, these creatives, one thing that I took away from it, Rich, not very good handwriting, not very pretty. Anyway.
Well, thank you very much for watching and hanging out with us for a little while, folks. That's our show for this week. If you want to keep up with future episodes of the ChannelPro 5-Minute Roundup, which we present every week, you want to subscribe to the ChannelPro Network channel on YouTube. For more content and information about managed services and devices of service and all the other things that you need to care about, go to the ChannelProNetwork.com website. More good stuff up there every day. To learn more about Erick and the services that his company offers, you want to go to consulting.spc-intl.com. That's consulting.spc-intl.com. Until next week, thanks again for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your week. Erick and I are enjoying the rest of your week already.